I think that's the last of it. Oh, hello, and welcome back to another episode of A Grown Man Dressed Like a Toddler talking to you, the viewers, about movies I've watched. It's so nice to have you guys back with me. Apparently there was a movie called Shazam that came out in 2019 that completely bypassed my mind, but I watched it recently. Somehow me and Shazam I did not remember. I remember advertisements of Shazam as it came out, but I don't remember watching or seeing a lot of trailers for that movie. I really just, I remember The Force Awakens came out that year. I remember a few other movies came. I really just do not have any, but apparently this movie was made, and not a Marvel film, and it's a DC film, but it kind of verges on the in-between. It's a David F. Sandberg film. Shazam was fantastic. It was sweet, and lighthearted, and great. It had its moments though. He has to be the most corniest superhero I think I've ever seen, but it's okay. It works completely with the tone of this film, which I'm going to get into. Spoilers ahead. Thank you guys for coming back and watching this, and let's dive into this episode. Shazam! Shazam! This episode is brought to you by Twinkies, by the way. We don't do any endorsements here, but let's dive into this movie. I had heard about this. I take it back, a couple weekends ago. My oldest son Riley had mentioned to me, I think.
He was like, "Hey Dad, I think we should watch Shazam."
And he's kind of got his voice is changing, where he's getting older and everything. And I almost didn't take him seriously, and so we didn't get to watch the movie. But when he left, I kind of wanted to view it, see if there's anything, I need to check out. And it was I found it to be a great, fantastic film. It's great for the whole family. I mean, forget everything with Matt Reeves for a minute. Let's lay him down on the table. I love the Batman, obviously. Let's set aside a little bit of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Let's sit down a little bit of Zack Snyder's verse and everything. And just this movie it's shocking to me that this came out and I didn't know about it, but it's more shocking to me that this was a great movie from DC that I didn't know about, other than Batman. I just was not expecting this movie to be such a delight. It starts out cinematography and story-wise reminds me very of a Marvel-esque. I think I was thinking of terms of, I'm not sure which X-Men movie it is. I think it was the last one that came out, where the woman who has Jean, when Jean's using her brain powers and the car flips over. There's a car accident in this movie in the very beginning with a kid who looks identical to Clark Kent, but just as a little kid, which I'm sure was intentional. I don't know, but he looks like the Christopher Reeve Clark Kent, and I was surprised to see that in this movie. It kind of made me laugh a little bit. I'm like, did anyone notice that, or was that? I guess that's intentional, but he gets sent down a portal to a cave thing. It sounds this movie is going to sound really weird me explaining it, but the movie itself is not this weird thing. It's actually got a lot of heart, a lot of humor. The thing, okay, so he gets into this cave with this wizard, and there's a glowing ball, but he doesn't. It looks like it reminds me so much of James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy type looking, like, and Thor world type stuff, like Asgard. But he doesn't resist the temptation of touching the glowing ball, so he's rejected, and he hangs on to this grudge for years, but we forget about it. It goes into modern day, and we see Billy Batson, I want to say. Yes, I believe that's his name. He lost his mom at a carnival, or she lost him, rather, I guess. But he finds himself in the foster care system, and he gets a foster family, and they're like the nicest people ever. Like his foster dad is real nice and understanding. They're like, they pray together before they eat. It's very, they ask, what's the topics we can talk about today? Like, it's the fun, and the moms, I'm not sure who these actors are, but they almost don't even feel like actors. It just feel like something you just see on like a reality show or TV. And I just very much enjoyed the whole charm of the family bond, and this outsider, this kid, he's trying to get used to these other, this foster family, but he's still in hot pursuit of finding his mom, and he doesn't want to let that go. But Billy, he has like a roommate kid that's he's like a real sweet kid, and he seems like he's got he wants to make friends, and he's an outsider, and I get it. Everyone in this movie kind of has like their own unique quirk, like all the kids. I thought that was interesting and unique. The little girl, she's real quirky, and she's real funny, and she's smart, but she's they're like, are you good at telling the truth? And she's like, average. And I love the honesty. It's a lot of heart to this, a lot of humor, but Billy's still having a really hard time trying to fit in, and so I think he gets chased by like some people on a subway, and we see some weird hieroglyphics, and he gets into this wizard's realm again, where we see the bad guy earlier from the movie. And Billy gets Shazammed or whatever, and is qualified to be Shazam, apparently. The wizard's like, I'm old and dying or something. I'm not sure. It's magic, and now it's yours, Billy Batson. I want to call him Billy Barty from Wizard of Oz. It's all yours, Billy Batson. And so he gets these powers, and then we get this. It feels like a lot of like big. And then this movie had its moments where it feels very Steven Spielbergish. I think it's just mostly with the kids and everything, and how they interact with each other in a way. And so we have to get like that big scene, where it's me, it really is, and has to tell him, he's like, I did take your Superman bullet. And I just love the humor and wit and charm of that. They bring like a little bit, there's even a little scene when the bad guy, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but like I said, spoilers, if you hadn't seen this movie, it's been out for a while. But they have this big fight scene, and there was actually a piano, just like in Big, the scene. And this movie reminds me of so many, it feels like it should have been made in the 80s almost. Like, it just, like his suit and everything. I wouldn't change nothing about this movie or this character. I love it. There's one point where he's using his powers just to make money, and kind of for, not even the good reasons. Like, he's really, really bad at, like, learning how to be superhero and being helpful. Like, it's like Tom Holland's Peter Parker is just like, gets it right away. Like, he's just like, oh, I'm a superhero, and then webbed, and I saved this person and that person. He's like trying to save people, but injuring them at the same time on the bus. I loved it. It's a mess. This movie's it's a beautiful, beautiful movie, and it's messy in a good way, and it's funny in a good way. It feels, I love, I can't remember, I have to write everything down sometimes. The man playing Shazam is really good. Zachary Levi is the name of the actor who plays Shazam. He's really funny, and he captures the spirit of a kid, I believe, really well. It is so believable coming from him. Like, I love how when he saves someone or helps someone, he calls them, oh, I helped this old person out. And they're like, you're the same age as me. And, it's really not, because in Billy's mind, he's still like a 16-year-old boy. And he's like, what are they talking about, same age? It's just so funny how that works. It's one of those classic underdog stories, and I really love the bad guy is such a small part in the film that you almost completely forget about him. But he's like, he has some type of like, it reminds me of like people that's had close encounters with aliens, and he's trying to like get all their encounters that they've had with all these magical hieroglyphics, and he's got a magical door. Someone conveniently has a camera that records all these weird hieroglyphics, and he writes them down on a door, and the door glows, does its thing. He gets into the magic wizard's realm, kills the wizard, and I think I might be getting some of this mixed up a little bit. Some of it kind of, I felt like it ran together, especially at the end. It's like, okay, we get this long fight scene. It's like, and some of it was great and it's funny. I'll get into it, but it's a little messy towards the end. But you know, the bad guy, he gets into the wizard's realm. He takes the ball and like he gets like a blue eye or something, and he has the ability and power to possess, to shoot demons out of his magic 8-ball. And the first thing he does is go back to where he had his grudge at with his dad and his brother from the opening scene of the movie, and releases his 8-ball of demons on him and blows up his whole father's company. And it was a little hammy, and you know, the bad guy, he's like campy, and his goals really aren't clear. Like, I'm not really sure what he would like. It's not that, haha, I want to take over the world and collect all. I'm not sure what his power was. Was it just seeking revenge, and that he's just mad that Shazam got the... I think that more or less was the goal, that he was upset that Billy Kid was more worthy of getting being Shazam or a wizard rather than him. I guess it's confusing and complicated and a little weird. My favorite part was the test. Billy's friend, his roommate at the foster home, they're both they got like, he's got like a checklist, and he's filming to see, can he fly, can he do this, and they're just going down the list of all the things he can do. Is he bulletproof? And they find out he's bulletproof. That's great. He's not using his powers. Like, it's just so funny. Like, it feels like the opposite of Tom Holland's like Peter Parker character. Like, this is a real kid that's dealt with real things, and it's like, you know, the classic underdog story. Well, what would it be like to be a grown-up if you're 16 years old? Well, he says, I am the fake ID, and they go and get a beer, and they take 2 sips of a beer, and they spit it out. And the best scene happens ever when they cut to, we get a hard edit of them coming out of the store, and they have like energy drinks and beef jerkies, and just, I loved it. It was a great movie. For those who haven't watched it, I don't want this to be a very long review. It's a very simple movie, and it's pretty good. It's just a little long towards the end. The bad guy finds out who Shazam is. That's his whole thing. He's tracking Billy down. He finds his foster family, and he gets his parents out of the house, or parents are out of the house. He goes in there. The kids get stuck in the Door Magic Realm place, and he is trying to, you know, Shazam, you can have your family back if you give me your powers. But then Shazam gets the sense to find his family, and he says, here's this wizard's staff, and if we all say Shazam, or if you guys say Shazam, we'll all get powers. And so the whole family does it, and the kids are all have powers, and it's very funny because their adult selves are like, oh, I did this and I can do this. Oh, look how strong I am. Oh, yes, I need to save people. It's a little corny and quirky, but it works for the tone of this movie overall, I think. And, you know, I really loved how this movie, you could have it on with your family. I mean, probably, you know, younger kids might be bored. This is a good family film. It has a lot of heart, a lot of story to it. Billy does finally meet up with his mom. I don't want to get into any more of it. I'll just leave it right here. Billy does get to meet his mom. It's not what he expects or what I expected. The actors all do a great job. Zachary Levi is great. The kid that he worked with, that's his roommate, Very good. I think the director, David F. Sandberg, did a great job on this. I'd love to see him make more DC movies. It was a lot of fun. Is there going to be a Shazam 2? It'd be fun. It'd be great. But I don't know. I don't want to get into, they defeat the bad guy and everything. But, I don't want to say how or anything else. This movie's great. I give this movie... it's not as great as the Batman, but it's something in the DC universe that's definitely worth watching, and it definitely caught my eye. I think that everyone who hasn't watched it will be pleased, and if you haven't seen it in a while, maybe it's something, revisit. But thanks for watching this episode, and I give this movie a very positive review. Please like this episode and subscribe to my channel. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.